So you guys are all pretty much in the med bay dealing with Jahan having this mysterious signal sent to his device. And you guys had generally left it as building as Eric kind of brought out, like building just the temple part, like just the device that's on his temple. So that's kind of where we were at. There's some other things kind of hanging about that we want to get to before we move on. But let's resolve where you guys were in the med bay. So what? I know that, like Mike, you mentioned you wanted to launch a probe. I know we have some other things in the air with your character, and there's some other unresolved like house stuff. So that's kind of on the agenda. We're going to get to that other stuff, but I figure let's at least button up this part in this scene in engineering.
What do we think about just like letting it keep happening to John for a while until we know more? It's not like it's hurting him in some way that we know of.
Oh yeah, I mean you can totally let it continue, like put it back on him and just let it see what happens. Absolutely.
My thinking is if we put it back on Jahan,
Yeah.
we need to make sure that no one is able to interface with the device.
Hmm. You
Because
mean
if someone needs to attach something to it, don't allow someone to be able to transmit a signal and activate something or plug something in. You know, have like a safety lock
gotcha.
where things can't just be activated.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you can either so it sounds like your choices are you can put this like you can try to do like a computer kind of like firewall on his temple apparatus piece. You could just, you know, essentially blindly put it back on him, or you can build a replica piece.
Yeah, it's tough because like I said, I don't want to do anything that's gonna like show our hand that we know that we found out. I'd rather be ahead of them, whoever's
Okay.
doing this or whatever is doing this. Yeah, I feel like that's what we should do. Try
You're
to
gonna
find out where it's coming from.
okay.
Try to do some more research on it, but don't interrupt it too much because I don't want to get like in a worse situation than we
Okay, so
already.
you want to take it off of the medical monitor and put it back on Jahan?
Yes.
If we do what as Travis was saying, which I think we should too, all that's going to do is they're still on their end. They're just still going to see that the signal is going to his antenna.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So we should be good.
All right. I'll approve that.
So
Sounds
you, Mike, can roll command presence, and you, Caleb, can roll control engineering. Difficulty 3, Caleb.
We ended the last episode with one momentum, so
Perfect. So I have a focus in machine operation. I also have a talent in technical expertise.
You know what? I'll let it because you're assisted by the ship's computer. All right, so Andrew, roll. Let's have him roll. Let's have you roll security computers for the ship, and you, Caleb, that'll allow you to re-roll one d20, and which can also be Andrew's die if it's bad.
Okay.
So I'm rolling an 8.
And I'm rolling.
Oh,
Yeah, this will determine.
Ooh,
A 14. I just made it.
Okay, so 14. So one success,
One
I rolled a
success.
5.
two successes. So you can now you need one success and you can re-roll one of your dice.
all right. I rolled a 4, which is my engineering number.
Ooh. So that's two successes.
Yeah. So let me roll again.
Yep.
That is a 10,
And that's got to
which is
be in your
good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to re-roll that 10 for a better number, a 4 or less, or whatever you got there, you can, but
Yeah.
if not, otherwise we'll give you 2 momentum.
I'll roll again just to add more momentum. 12.
So 2 momentum. So that's what you got back, Andrew. So you guys you watch Arhat under your direction of a firewall. You watch Clark as he kind of like programs this firewall setting, basically like a Norton antivirus thing on the medical computer, and and then he starts to like transfer the receiving end. Like he then takes like off the dummy receiver, digital receiver, and then allows it to just go back to Jahan naturally. But now Jahan has on his thing a firewall, which um which basically, so that you guys understand, is it is code. The code is still reaching his apparatus. It's not doing anything to him. And it would make anybody try to access like somebody who wasn't like Clark and Jahan, anybody who messes with him physically would have a harder time in trying to get something out of him or to do something nefarious with this. But Clark kind of tells you, Ashrav, that the code may still work.
So now we need to try to figure out where it's coming from, eh?
Yeah. So we can have you guys all vacate the med lab. You can let House go back if he wants because he's off shift. He only came in because Jahan was in the room. And Silva isn't on because he's off shift. So you would have I think it's lieutenant, maybe it's ensign, but you'd have Sarang Chu is up there. So you would have her launch a probe. Now it doesn't cost anything. You don't got to roll. It doesn't cost, there's no difficulty to it. All that's gonna do is when you guys do a sensor sweep, it'll drop the difficulty. Is that what you guys want to do? Is launch a probe?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
If everybody's on board for that, I think that sounds good.
So you launch a probe. You guys wanted to do like a triangulation, like use the Drake and the probe, and like where the data stream kind of like generally ends.
You have the ship with
Yep.
the signal.
Yep.
You send a probe over here,
Yep.
and between the two of them, you can kind of tell which direction it's coming from and approximately how far it's coming from.
Okay.
But that's
So
in perfect situation.
totally. It is a difficulty 5, but because of the probe, it's a difficulty 4. It would be a science control scan that she would be doing. And she has a 14. It's difficulty 4. So what do you guys want to do?
Bare minimum, she would have to buy at least one dice to have a chance of doing it.
So the ship can assist.
Yep.
How many dice do you want me guys to roll?
Does she have any type of talent or focus that she could possibly work with?
Oh, she didn't know. She doesn't have anything to necessarily boost anything. No. With her being a supporting character.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, unless she has something, she's going for three wins with 3 dice if she buys one.
Yeah. Now the only other thing you could do is obviously let Sova know and so have Sova come to the bridge and have him do all this.
Yeah, I feel like that's a better idea.
And somebody is going to have to catch Sova up to speed.
I mean, that would be the preferred thing, but technically, Sova just needs to know you're scanning something.
It wouldn't take long to say we found a signal that's being transmitted to the ship. Can you scan for it?
Yeah, let's do it.
It can be told in one or 2 lines.
Yeah.
So there you go, Sova. So you get a thing over your comm while you're in your room that Arhat has said to you, "Hey, we found this mysterious code being directed at the ship. We need you to come to the bridge and make a dedicated scan."
Okay, as you wish.
Silva, as your doctor, I have to ask, have you ever had anything traumatic happen while scanning anything?
Not as far as I know.
Okay, well then you are all set, sir. Head to the bridge.
All right, so I go to the bridge.
So you're gonna roll science and control, and whoever wants to roll for the ship.
And so I sit down and I ask, so I find the signal and I say, is there any information you know about the signal that might help me with the scan?
We're
Uh,
unsure about the signal, where it's coming from. It's being directed to our ship constantly. That's about all we know about it.
All right, definitely buying one. We do have two more, so I could buy another, but that would leave us with no momentum.
But we're also about to end this episode and start a new one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
I
we
would
would.
use
all
it.
right, so I'll use it.
Okay.
So I can use 4 dice.
I can roll the ship. What am I rolling for the ship? Well,
10.
Yeah.
Sensor science.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
I told you he wasn't well.
I rolled a 20.
Yeah, he wasn't well.
Andrew, why? Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know if this matters, but I rolled a 1.
That definitely matters.
Okay.
Because you got a 2. So we succeeded, but then it's a complication.
Correct.
Okay.
So what I'll say is, as you start to do what Mike was showing on his paper there, where the two, you're kind of starting to kind of get like a general idea of where it is, and it kind of indicates that it's not far away. It's not like long distance. But the second you start to do that, the probe stops working. And you don't get a pinpoint of exactly where the code is coming from.
But do we get a general idea?
You get a general idea that it is not a long distance code. So like
Okay.
Mike had suggested, maybe a planet or like a relay station or a satellite was doing that, and you don't get the feeling that it's something that far away from you.
So it's something close, like on the ship?
No, it's outside of the ship. It's not on the ship.
Did we get like bugged when we went to space dock? Did somebody like slap a tracker thing on our hull?
All I can say is that it doesn't seem like it's like, oh, it's something nearby. That's what you got before the probe failed on you.
If we look at a map, can we tell, like, if there's any solar systems around that it might be coming from?
Well, there are a lot of solar systems in that general direction, but
Where was the direction pointing to?
just out into space.
No specific direction. Not like
Basically, like behind it's behind the it's like, I don't know what they call it. I'm not good with ship terms, but it's like the back left behind the ship.
where what would that correlate to on their ship? Like a cargo room or?
No. The beam is going out past the nacelles.
Right. Okay.
It's not
Yeah,
on
this
the
is some
ship.
like ship or probe that's following us.
So, yeah, I wonder if it's like a ship that's like cloaked, but we didn't have cloaking yet, right?
Oh, there was cloaking.
There was cloaking back then.
What if we just like
Yeah.
launched a torpedo?
Sure.
What do you guys think? Too much?
Honestly, you could like shoot phasers like over it
Yeah.
or in that general direction.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's shoot. Let's phaser behind us and
At,
see
like,
what
yeah.
happen. What happens?
But
At like
no,
not full strength, you know.
Right. Not gonna try to kill them. Just
Well, not yet.
right. Not. I
All
wanna.
right.
I wanna know who I'm killing.
So
first.
that's an Ashrev
see
thing.
their
He would
face.
roll security control, and then somebody would roll weapons security for the ship.
can I assist with sensor to help pinpoint?
Yeah, you can use science and control as an assist.
Okay.
Does it have on your guys' sheet what phase cannons gives you? Like what your difficulty is?
Two.
I need
I,
16 or lower.
the ship failed.
Unacceptable.
15 and 16. I got 2 successes.
I got one.
Nice
Okay.
work.
So
team.
you're firing the weapon. Where were you shooting at?
Well, wherever the is closest to the directions we
To the
can.
code? Like you're paralleling the code.
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay. So as you fire parallel with the code, you see that the phaser ends up kind of glancing and it hits something,
Mhm.
and you can see this like effect on sensors, and the code stops.
Ooh, interesting. Does John feel any different?
No.
No.
Fire again.
Yeah.
Do we,
Fire
do we
again.
scan for what we hit, or do we shoot it again?
Let's fire a larger, heavier shot.
You can
Let's try
also,
the-
Adri, at this point, you could open up comms.
Can I? Do I have their signal though to open?
Well,
Or
I
you
mean,
could-
you can open up comm to the ship, and if they want to respond, they can.
You could do one of those general broadcasts of like, "We know you're there."
Okay, let's do that.
So that's a Jahan thing. And who wants to roll engineering communications?
For the ship?
Yep.
What is it?
It is you just gotta roll one die, Eric, if you want. You
Yep.
just roll one D20 and just tell us what you get. And Andrew or Adrian will tell you.
9 or less.
I got
Yeah.
4.
9. You got a 4? That's definitely a
Yep.
success.
I would say that's pretty much guaranteed a success.
Comms is a 6, so
Yeah.
All right, 16. 5 and 1.
Whoop.
Okay, he doesn't have a focus, but still so 1, 2, 3, 4. So two momentum. No, 4 momentum. Excuse me, 4 momentum.
Whoop.
we get 4. We get 4?
It's a difficulty 0.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
4 momentum.
So as you see Jahan opening up the hailing frequencies for the Drake, you get nothing but dead static. There's nothing. There's nothing.
Okay. Blow
There's
them up
nothing.
again. Let's send a stronger, like maybe now we fire a torpedo.
Well, why don't we do a full array?
Well, I'm not trying to kill them yet. Will that kill them?
Well, the question is there anyone on there?
There's also a question of how are we targeting them if they stop the signal.
Yeah.
Let's just try it. See what
That's why
happens.
I'm saying a widespread would at least one of them would get a success.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's do a widespread.
Okay, of phase cannons or
I would do phase cannons instead of the torpedoes because torpedoes are more deadly.
Plus their difficulty 3. Yeah, let's do phase cannons.
okay. So security control, probably again Ashrav, and then security weapons for the ship. And
Okay.
I'll let Silva
Um,
assist again.
I'll roll for the ship again.
Ooh, yeah.
I already fired and I got 2 successes.
Okay. So I failed again. The ship.
I rolled a 3.
Awesome.
Okay,
Six,
so two difficulty. You guys got what? 3 successes.
Yep.
So 1 momentum back.
Okay.
As you watch the 2 phase cannons kind of systematically fire as best as they can, that same kind of phenomenon that you got doesn't happen.
Okay. But the signal still stopped.
The signal has still stopped.
Okay.
They ran away. At least for now.
Yeah. All right. We can't scan for any kind of like warp drive.
Like a warp signature.
Yeah, or any kind of like you know,
Sure.
essence. Dirt. I don't know.
Dirt.
You know, Just
Real fine powdery
force.
dirt
have you seen it?
Basically, an
So-
exhaust
in the ground.
signal.
Yeah, an exhaust signal, exactly.
Whatever
Exactly.
energy the ship may have put off.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
So it's science reason, sensor science for the ship, difficulty 3.
Let me think. It's difficulty 3. I'm going to use 3.
Okay.
It's right at the end of the adventure, so I can use 4 dice.
I have a
Yeah.
success for the ship.
What did you do?
I have a success for the ship.
Nice. Oh, why do I keep rolling 20s?
Rolling 20.
Because you're a Vulcan.
You're a saboteur.
I
You
rolled
ha-
2 successes and 2 complications.
And you have and
2
you have a
complications.
and
Now,
you have a head
we
problem.
have 2 momentum left. Am I allowed to use any of that to negate anything, or?
You can spend your 2 momentum to get rid of each complication.
Okay, I'm
Sounds
gonna
like
do
you
that.
shouldn't
So that
be
way
touching anything.
it's just 3 successes then.
You can clearly see that there is a warp signature, like a warp signature has happened in
Can
your
we tell-
vicinity.
Can we tell like what type of vessel? Like
No.
a Klingon or okay.
No.
Is there a way to tell that? Or
Not really. Not
Okay.
in this century.
do we know what level of warp? Like warp 5 or
No.
No.
okay.
You just
It's-
saw the burned rubber on the road, basically.
The thing
Yeah.
is we have a ship that we had trouble seeing and a warp signature. It's a ship,
Right. It's a
and
ship.
that does narrow down the species who use technology like that.
That's
But
true.
there's still a wide variety of species that it could be. Let's say it is a Klingon ship. It doesn't mean that that ship wasn't commandeered by another species
True.
and utilized.
True. But I think that's good now that we at least know that it's a ship. It's not just some like random thing out in space somewhere, like transmitter or whatever. It's like a ship that's been following us.
Now that we know that that signal can be sent, every now and then we can check for it to see if it's around.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right.
Will
well,
knows.
what else to do here? I mean,
Should I set up a
Do I?
Mhm.
can I set up like an automatic thing where it keeps checking every
Sure.
so often?
Yep.
Mhm.
So you guys now kind of have this eerie sensation that a ship is out there, very interested in the Drake. At least
It's
something
been
has
following
you,
us for who knows how long.
for who knows how long, warp capable, and they have an interest in Jahan for some reason. So that kind of tied up the Jahan apparatus thing and your probe thing. So let's see. Probably the best thing to do now is probably do the thing that you wanted to do, Mike, the thing that we had talked about.
Okay.
Where would you like to hold your interviews, and also are you hoping to go in the order of which you
I'm,
have, or doesn't matter?
I have no problem doing it in whatever order.
Okay.
Let's start with Sarang Choi.
She comes in and she says, "Oh, hi, Commander. I heard that you wanted to have a discussion."
Yes, I do. If you'd like to sit down.
Okay. She takes a seat.
I just wanted to ask you a few questions, get your point of view on a few things.
Sure.
I just want to basically get to know more about the crew, try and figure out what's going on in day-to-day life.
Okay.
One question I had is, do you enjoy what you do with the science crew?
Um, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy it. I specifically really like discovering and studying new life forms, so that's always kind of fun.
Yep. This question came up because one of my um, security officers was becoming a doctor. He
Hmm.
just didn't enjoy it, and in intermittently, he's a security officer until he figures out what else he wants to do.
Oh, okay.
So I just want to make sure that you are enjoying what you're doing,
Yeah.
so that if you're happy with it, we can you can keep doing it. I have no problem.
Awesome. Yeah. No, very happy with it.
Who do you think works the hardest out of the science officers besides you?
Well, that's kind of easy. That's would probably have to be Sova.
Yeah, he gets called in for a lot of things
He does.
because he's very knowledgeable on a lot of things.
Yeah, and I don't even slightly doubt the captain's rash reasoning for making him a senior staff. He's very qualified.
Is there anyone you don't get along with or are concerned with?
I mean, not really. I mean, some of the settings that Stephen leaves the scanner on are frustrating when I come on the shift after Sova, but Sova also doesn't really seem to mind, so it's probably just a me issue than anything.
Okay. Has anyone had issues with the computer lately?
Not that I saw, nothing that I've heard or saw.
Okay. Pick a number, 7 or 8.
Okay. I guess 8.
Okay. And do you have any concerns with Lieutenant Sova?
I have noticed that he's a little bit more quiet than usual, if you can imagine. That's saying a lot for a Vulcan, but I guess I'm not really concerned. No.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Oh,
I just wanted to check in with you and make sure everything is good with you.
oh, I appreciate that. Okay. Well, thank you.
If you like, you can go back about what you were doing.
Oh, okay. Will do. Thank you, Commander.
And if anything comes up, please let me know.
Okay. I definitely will. So she gets up and she walks out of the room and she returns to the bridge.
Next, I was thinking Upix.
Who
I think I'm
picks?
saying it right.
Yeah. So she comes and you hear the comm go off on the outside of your office.
Come in.
And she comes in. She goes, "Oh, hello, Commander. I heard that
Hello.
you wanted to talk to me or something."
Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up with all the staff, ask them general questions, and because I'm second in command of the ship, I'm just trying to touch base with everybody, trying to see if there's anything they need and anything going on that they need help with.
Oh, okay. Understand.
I just wanted to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
Um, One thing that comes to mind is what's your favorite part of stellar cartography?
Oh, wow. Well, I do like charting the sectors pretty good so that the the folks in engineering can plot an effective course through it a lot better. So I do take a lot of pride in making sure that when Mozesh up on the bridge or any of the other helmsmen up there punch in coordinates, they have accurate readings.
Yeah, I had looked into it. That's just not something that I would enjoy. That's why I want to get your take on it.
Oh, okay, sure.
Do all the science crew get along?
Um, you know, all of us kind of get together every so often, and sometimes for drinks, sometimes for a movie or something. And I don't want to say nobody gets along, but Sova like always declines. I mean, even Demo, who's a Vulcan, he even shows up once in a while. So it's like I don't know. I don't want to say we don't get along. It's just I noticed that he's kind of aloof. Sova's kind of aloof.
Okay. Are there any problems that I should be aware of?
I don't think so. No, not really.
Okay. Do you feel communication between the crew is good or could be improved?
Well, Sova is always clear with me and my directives, so I would say I'm happy, Commander.
Okay. Pick a shape, triangle or rectangle.
Definitely a triangle.
Okay. And how is Lieutenant Silva as Chief Science Officer, in your
Well, he's really
opinion?
nice to me, and he makes me feel appreciated. I guess really I guess really I just wish I could get to know him better.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
If you think of anything, please let me know, okay?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So let's have you, Mike. I meant to have you do it when Sarang Chu left. Let's have you roll security insight on her. Difficulty 2.
A 4 and a 10.
Okay. So what you get from Sarang is that you don't think she's keeping anything from you, and that she doesn't seem like she has something alternatively going on. Seems like she's just an officer on the ship trying to do the best she can, and seems like she really has no issues.
Okay.
Let's have you also roll the same exact thing, but this will be for Upix.
Okay. A 9 and a 6. So I'm good there too.
Okay, and practically the same exact thing. You do get kind of that there's something there with Upix and Silva, but it probably isn't anything more than maybe she maybe kind of has like a crush on him or something, or like she's interested in him in some way, but nothing more than that.
Yeah, there is also the fact that wasn't she was it Ryzen?
Yeah, she's rising him, yeah. So they like to
That
have a
also
good
that
time.
also plays into it.
Correct. So we can move on to your third. Yeah.
Yep. Steven.
So Steven comes down and he presses the comm thing on the wall outside of your office.
Come in.
He says, "Oh, hey, Commander. Just about to
Hello.
start my shift here in a couple hours. I was told you wanted to speak with me."
Yes, I did. I just want to catch up with the crew and make sure everything is going smoothly,
Oh, okay.
no issues.
Sure.
I just wanted to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
What would you say the last problem you had to deal with the science area?
Well, our sensors had to be recalibrated after an intensive scan of the planet Catherine, and the calibration took longer than anticipated, but that's about it.
Okay, so pretty much normal.
Normal, yeah.
Who would you say has the easiest job amongst the science crew?
Well, that's an easy one. That has got to be uh Beavis. Um he's our geophysicist that works in the lab, and there hasn't been a lot of geophysical study and or archaeology happening in our recent missions, so he doesn't do too much. I mean, I think highly of the guy. He's kind of swimming easy down there.
Okay. Who is the go-to person when the computer acts up out of the science crew?
Well, the real reality of it is um nothing against either of these guys, but when something goes awry, we typically talk to Clark or Jahan, just because those guys really want us to kind of bounce things through them before us digging around in there.
I
But a
get
couple,
that.
but a couple times, Demo from the science lab has come in and just kind of done some workarounds and kept us from bothering them, but nothing really crazy.
Okay. And any concerns I should be aware of?
That I can think of.
Okay. Pick a color, yellow or purple.
Ooh, I guess purple.
Okay. And as the person in charge of the science crew, what would you say the good points and maybe throw in a bad point or two
Hmm.
of what you think of Lieutenant Silva?
Oh. Well, Silva is thorough. And if something that doesn't make sense to him or to really any of us on the crew, he doesn't drop it. He doesn't just kind of let it go. So that's kind of nice. It's nice that he doesn't just kind of let things kind of fall to the wayside. He's really intelligent and very concerned with my scans that happen over the night. He doesn't really let anything that I've maybe kind of brushed under the rug in a sense. He doesn't let that happen. So we kind of stopped that early on. Um, bad, that's tough. He does his job like really, really well. But, even for a Vulcan, he's really not that personable. He's always treated me with respect, but I feel like he doesn't want us to be friends.
I can get the same feeling.
Yeah. I like the guy. It's just, it's hard to know.
I understand. If anything comes up or you think of anything, please let me know, okay?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's have you do the same thing. Security insight too on Stephen.
Yep, we're good. Rolling
Success.
good. Success.
Okay.
Barely on that second dice.
So you get from Stephen like exactly the same thing. He's got nothing to hide. He's kind of a very open book.
Yep.
And you kind of get the feeling that he also would like to be friends with Silva. You kind of get that most of these three interviews, and even when you talk to Golu, like they'd kind of like to be a little more chummier with him, at least have more of a friend, a camaraderie with him.
Yeah.
But
He also,
you don't get like something's cooking, like something's happening behind the scenes here with these three.
yeah, he also dropped a point that I'm going to be looking into.
Gotcha. So the added benefit of what we were doing, I rolled a dice on everybody, and only on Sarang did I roll an effect. And with that effect, Silva, you are at your quarters, and you have a ring at your door,
Enter.
and the door opens, and it's Sarang. Hi, Lieutenant. Listen, I'm not trying to like start anything here. I'm not trying to like cause problems, but are you aware that like the commander was talking to members of the science crew?
No, I am not aware of this. Can
Yeah, he was fine. I mean, nothing happened. He wasn't mean in any way, and he wasn't rude, but I don't know, just kind of strange.
can I ask what he was asking?
He asked kind of broad questions. He kind of just asked about the science department in general. He asked a couple questions about you, but nothing was really like pinpointed. He just kind of was generally wondering about our department.
Interesting. Thank you for letting me know this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not trying to cause problems here. I just thought it was interesting, and I found it kind of strange that you didn't direct us to go see him, that he had talked to us, without you kind of informing us, because that's kind of your norm is we're if we have something on the itinerary, you're the one to let us know.
Yes. No, I will look into this, so you do not have to worry about it.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Lieutenant. I just thought it was strange and just wanted to make sure.
And you have a good night.
Thank you as well, Lieutenant. Okay, so before we jump into we're gonna go and reset. I'm just gonna talk for Caleb's benefit. So you house sent out like you requested Sova's records. Now, did you request his military records or his medical records?
Both.
Both of them. Okay. So
Every record I can get.
every record ever. Okay.
He wants
Wow.
all of it. He wants his high school record. He wants
Okay. So we're going to give you about a day on that. We're going to advance when we take this time jump. We're going to jump about 6 days. But in that time jump, we're going to give you information. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get back, they send you Sova's military and medical records. And you see what he told you. You see in his military record what had happened, that he was he was assaulted, he was attacked, and when he returned to essentially like the gathering point for the Vulcans, he displayed signs of some of like mental instability, and they, after investigating him, having some on the scene officers kind of just like look at him, they kind of surmised that he had Anar syndrome, and they
Oh
shipped
yeah.
him off planet, and they housed him in a psychiatric facility. So Sova, once he was in there, and the Federation, that like the Kirshara episode where they embrace Sirach's teachings again, they went in and cleared him from the psychiatric facility, and the psychiatrist who oversaw him was Talon. She cleared him from the psychiatric facility, and he returned to normal Vulcan life. That's practically what they have. So they have in detail like what he recounted to you already in his quarters. That's like the military record with a little other jazz around it. Some of it's been redacted just because their feelings about things have been omitted. Like the Vulcans don't feel that way anymore about certain behaviors. So some of it's just like they're getting rid of that, like that way of thinking, so that those parts have been redacted. But other than that, that's what you get from like medical people on the ground. In the psychiatric facility, you see
Yeah.
that they were, more or less like a stigma against the guy, more or less. And until proper
Yeah, I
doctors came
remember
in to
that.
look
I
at
remember
him.
that. So they basically have no category for like PTSD other than
Well,
this
there no
syndrome.
no one has ruled out that he doesn't have PTSD, and what you're kind of left with is that this psychiatrist Talon is like the person who cleared him, to be where he is today. Now, obviously, he went through Starfleet Academy, and like medical teams had to clear him for duty, but to get him to that point, she is the doctor to get him there.
Yeah.
So it's fair to assess that she probably has more insight than what's just on like medical records.
Yeah. I don't believe that what Silva went through would be a degenerative, like his brain's not deteriorating because of it.
Right. Yeah, you're not seeing, when you've scanned him over, when he has physicals and stuff, like you're not getting any of the stuff that he was confined for.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what would you like to do, Caleb? I mean, I know it's kind of like thrown in your lap a little bit, but what's your gut kind of feeling about it?
I would like to maybe send a message to Talon.
Okay. And just kind of,
I could write something up and send it to you later.
oh, okay. Perfect. I can say to you, I think comfortably, without having you roll or be too weird about it. I think comfortably you can assess that like um they may not have been investigating anything like that because he wasn't presenting anything like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I also feel like Vulcans are too prideful to even say that it would be like a PTSD symptom
Sure.
because that would that would imply that the emotions. So basically, like what happens is House sees that the thing comes up and it says like diagnosed like Anar, and he would just like go.
He just raised his eyebrow like Spock.
Yeah.
Mm.
So he gets that message. And so now 5 days after the message, you guys are going about space, and it is the morning of. And Jahan says, Captain, we're getting a hail, getting a long range communication.
It's just my brain hurts.
Open channels.
On the screen appears Grand Marks and Ur'Barr.
Oh,
And he
my
looks,
man.
what's that?
My man.
Oh, he looks worried and more than a tad anxious.
Oh dear.
He says,
Okay.
Captain, he says, let me quickly get right to the point. I know we haven't talked in a while. I want to talk to you. He says, we've detected a large Talarian fleet headed towards Kate that is not responding to any of our hails. So I am therefore asking for every Federation ship in range to make best possible speed for Kate. We're fielding the best we can in our area, but the numbers are not in our favor in comparison to what is coming.
Understood. We'll be there as soon as we can.
I appreciate that.
How long will it take?
So at warp 6, it'll take about 10 hours.
Okay. We'll be there in about 10 hours.
Okay, I think our sensors show them being here around that time, but I'm not sure.
Well, we'll prepare for a fight, but hope for the best.
I understand. In the 10 hours of you guys warping and making journey, we'll have House get a response. Now it's been a while. It hasn't been. He didn't get a 24-hour response from Dr. Talon. It's now been 5 days. And like about 5.5 days. When we have that fished out, we'll go back to it and play it out. So
I would like to submit my report to the Vulcan Science Council for the creatures on the planet.
oh sure, yeah, that happened a while ago.
Yeah. Because I didn't make it official. I decided Sova is not going to name them. He's going to suggest names based off of qualities that they have.
Oh, okay.
Like there was the leopard looking thing that hums.
Yeah.
So he'd suggest the Vulcan word for, combining those two things,
Gotcha.
like cat or something.
Yeah, cool. So you sent your report in there, right, Captain, to about Sova after.
Yeah, I did.
So you get a report back, Captain, and they make a recommendation. And that's what we're going to do. So they say that though Sova acted in accordance with orders and directives, he resorted to lethal force without cause.
I don't agree with that, but okay.
And that he took unnecessary risks in the course of the mission.
Okay. So what?
So how that affects Sova. So Andrew's going to roll 1d20. If that d20 rolls a 12 or less.
12 or less to have a success.
Correct.
Each d20 that rolls equal to or below character's privilege is counted as 2 successes.
So if you roll 2 or less, it counts as 2.
Yes. If the total number of successes are lower than the total number of negative influences, characters loses reputation. Reputation is decreased by 1 plus an additional 1 for each die that didn't roll a success.
Correct. So
I'm just rolling one dice.
1 dice.
Okay. Oh, because I only had 1 positive, right?
Correct.
So I rolled a 19. So I didn't get any successes, right?
Correct. So he scored less than his number of negative influences. He had 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's 0.
Yeah.
Then you lose reputation. You reduce it by 1.
Plus 1
Plus a
for
1.
So I lose 2 reputation.
And 1 for each die that rolled within the range, and you rolled a 19.
Yes.
So you lose 3,
Okay.
and it puts you in a new category. And that category is now the character's record is somewhat uncertain, and their performance is questionable. They are viewed as being too quick to disregard Starfleet's rules and regulations, occasionally insubordinate, or have gained a reputation as unnecessarily reckless.
Okay.
Can I like refute that? Can I contact whoever like sent that report to me?
You definitely can. We can definitely build something in narratively, but that's generally what Starfleet feels.
Yes. Which makes sense. You got to report that Silva almost killed 3 people. That's going to hurt his reputation with
Yeah, I think the thing I don't appreciate is them saying that it was unfounded. I'd like to push back on that.
You'd like to push back on resorted to lethal force without cause?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, you and I can work something out, and then build something narratively there.
Okay.
So what you get on their end of it is that they feel that Silva didn't try to talk to these individuals to ascertain what they were doing.
Has
really
anybody in Starfleet ever talked to a Tellarite before? That'd be my
really
first question.
that for real?
We're flying straight past Kate. We're going right to San Francisco. We're going right to Starfleet. We're gonna land right in the front.
We'll march right in there.
Plow the Drake into the Pacific Ocean.
Right through the bridge. Yeah.
That's funny.
I will take a chance to be who I'm meant to be. I won't let fear keep me from trying. It's time for me to make a change, to start living the life I want. I'm gonna reach for the sky, way up high. I'm never giving up. It's up to me to see who I can be, make dreams reality. I'm never giving up. 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 I'm never giving up.
So you arrive to
I'm not
Kate.
playing this game anymore.
Okay, you arrive at Kate. Here's the good news. There is no battle happening.
What?
Oh, that's not good news. That's
Boring.
go to San Francisco.
The bad news is that the
It's already
Tellarians I don't know what he said, but the Tellarians beat you guys to Kate.
And they killed everyone.
That's what I said. I said the bad news is that it's the good news is there's no battle. The bad news is it's already over.
Everyone's dead. Okay.
Everyone's
okay.
dead.
Bad news.
The Tellarians have already beat the Drake to Kate. They're already here.
Okay.
Only 2 Surak class and 1 Daedalus class ship from the Federation have managed to arrive to defend Kate. The USS Grelek, the USS Varen, and the USS Ibn Majid.
Were they there before the Tellarians came?
No. The good news is that the Tellarians have merely formed a battle line on the edge of the system and are waiting. What would you guys like to do?
I want to open channels. Want to I want to demand.
I
Okay.
want to open torpedo bays.
Oh,
May I stand next to you, Captain, as you do this?
sure.
You hail, and appearing on the screen is a clean-shaven 60-year-old Talarian. He says, Captain Knightley of the tardy USS Drake. Expected, though not hoped for. I am Yavis, envoy of the Talarian Republic. Our claim to this planet is absolute, and your Federation's feeble protestations matter not to us. You are mere intruders in a matter that does not concern you.
I think I'm gonna have to see a little proof, Captain.
I understand. Prepare to meet our chosen ambassador who may attempt to pacify your misguided minds. Your presence is tolerated only momentarily. Yavis out. And he closes the channel.
Man, I was gonna say, as is yours.
Oh,
All right,
You're-
so what's happening?
you're
He's going
tardy.
over or something?
Well, you're got him. So
It took that long.
I think that was the point. I think that
Oh
was
my god!
so
Wow,
you're slow.
that's funny on so many levels.
Sorry.
So many levels.
So
Lozesh has a mind. What can I tell you?
Oh my god!
so what do you want to do? Do you want to agree to these terms? Or contest by force?
Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, let's not get crazy yet. Let's see what we can find out first.
And then we'll dance another day.
Yeah.
Well, we should talk to Ur'Barr too.
Yeah.
Okay, you can hail Ur'Barr.
Well,
Ur'Barr
what's
know if his planet is.
They're sending an ambassador to my
They're going to
ship.
send an ambassador to the Drake.
Okay, then yeah, absolutely hail Grand Markson. So I'll get him on the screen and I'll say, hey, they're sending over an ambassador to try to convince me that this is their land. So if you'd like to send up someone from your planet so that we can have all parties represented, you're more than welcome.
Do you want me myself there? My advisors
Yeah.
tell me not to come, but I
Well,
know
it's up
your
to
people
you.
and I trust your people.
You send up who you want to send up.
I would like to
Well, you
come.
don't.
Then you're welcome
Just
to
have
come.
him-
Absolutely.
May I
Already
make a
have him on the
suggestion?
phone.
Sure.
Let's see if we can scan the ship and see if there's any phaser damage from phasers.
Ooh, okay. Good thought. Good thought. Let's have
Not a
Sova
bad
do some
idea.
scanning in the background.
So there is a shuttle departing, and it's making its way towards the Drake from the Talarian fleet.
Blow it up.
Okay.
Blow it up.
Let's have Sova do some scans.
Science control, buddy. And whatever the computer thing is, sensors, science.
Sova,
Is there any?
if there's a D20 and you get
Mhm.
20, you're a traitor.
Oh,
We're done.
I was gonna say,
We're not
is there
sticking
any
up for you.
difficulty?
Difficulty 2. Who's doing the computer?
Oh, guess what? I rolled a 20.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh
Told
no.
you, you're done. You're
Oh,
done.
Wow.
What is
Wow.
wrong with you?
This is so bad.
I think
for
I
his
was
character.
going to defend you in court.
And
Yeah,
I'm going,
really.
I growl in his ear.
Okay, did you get any success, Andrew?
I got 2 successes
Okay.
because I'm scanning. I'm doing bioscans, right?
No, you're looking for phaser damage on the shuttle.
Oh,
Oh, good. At least we can redo it.
the
Yeah,
don't
that
think-
doesn't count.
I don't
That's
think
a
that
wash.
would be a focus. Then you would it? Because
No.
it wouldn't be radioactivity or bioscan, would it?
No,
So I got 1 success.
What's the ship? What am I rolling for the
Sensor
ship?
science.
One above what we needed.
So no.
So you scan the shuttle, and the shuttle, it's inconclusive. This thing has maybe seen some action, but it may not have seen anything. It's hard to really know. You haven't really scanned Talarian shuttles before, so you
Yeah.
don't
Plus
really
it
have
could
a
be.
basis for what
is
their
it the
ship.
shuttle that we were scanning, or was it their ship that we were scanning?
I thought you were scanning the shuttle coming close to the ship.
No,
Oh, we were
the
scanning.
ship.
Does
Okay.
nobody listen?
Roll
That's
again.
not-
Well, I'm
Start
still
over.
going to say the same thing for the ship.
Not fair.
course.
You misheard
Yeah.
us.
Because the
Oh.
phaser hit the shields anyway, so there wouldn't be any damage on the ship.
So since I scanned the ship, can I scan the shuttle?
Sure,
Or I would like to do scan for biosigns though, because I want to see.
you can do that. Same exact thing.
Can we scan our ship?
You can scan your own ship, yes.
Okay.
Who's rolling for the ship?
I did and I failed.
I only got one success.
Let's scan their computers.
So you aren't really sure. You could tell that there's life signs on the shuttle, but you don't really know anything conclusive.
Do we know
there's
how
definitely
many
people on there.
ships are out there? Or
How many ships are out there?
yeah.
So there are 4, including yourself, there are 4 Federation ships present. And there are 3 Cathian ships present. And there's 10 Talarian ships present.
Oh boy, we're outnumbered.
Mm-hmm. Probably outgunned too.
The Talarian shuttle docks, and on the way from Kate is a transport moving its way to the Drake as well.
Okay.
Once the Talarian shuttle docks, out steps a younger looking man, and he is also clean shaven and he has blonde hair. Who's down there at the docking ring to meet him?
Me. And probably Arhat, right?
Me and Vincent and Gio would be around.
Okay. So out steps this Solarian, and he says, Captain Knightley, I presume. I am Hota, ambassador of the Solarian Republic. As I step aboard your vessel, I seek not confrontation, but understanding.
I'm happy to hear that. That's what we seek as well. Although I must say your captain didn't seem to share the same sentiments.
Well, I understand. Things are very high in tension, and our 2 factions have not gotten along recently, but our claim to Kate is deeply rooted in historical borders, recently adjusted for stellar drift. The Talarian Republic acknowledges the Federation's diplomatic inclinations, and I, too, am here to explore peaceful avenues.
So you've lived this long without the planet. Why can't you continue to live without it?
Not to mention it's inhabited.
That's good.
Well, I can understand, Captain. This is why I'm here to have this discussion.
Oh, another
Um,
Russian.
Perhaps we could discuss this matter elsewhere instead of standing here, right here by the docking port. We can try to bridge the gap between our perspectives. I propose a meeting in your ship's dining space, neutral ground for dialogue and diplomacy.
I have to
Would
say,
you like a hamburger?
I must admit too, I'm not feeling very hospitable at the moment, seeing how you brought 10 ships to peacefully talk to our friends. Why the need for such a presence? It certainly doesn't scream peace to me.
Well, I don't control what these individuals do, what our nation does. I'm just here to share with you people who are here what's happening.
So you speak for them, but you don't.
I speak for them.
You don't necessarily agree with all of their decisions.
I speak for them.
I can understand your position.
He didn't answer the question.
I think I will just bring him to my personal dining hall, like my little dining room.
Sure.
Is that on fourth deck?
Can you give me share screen?
Oh, yep.
So you see 13?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So 13 is the mess hall, and then right here in this little alcove is the captain's dining room.
Cool.
And is this 20, Andrew? Is that where they are?
20 is airlock. They came out of the airlock?
So it's right down the hall.
Yeah, so if they came in this airlock, they could go to the captain's mess right there.
Yeah, that's perfect. Let's do it.
So he says on the way as you walk, they do the Star Trek walk and talk. He does. He says our differences can be discussed with civility, and I believe we share a common desire for resolution without bloodshed. What do you say, Captain? Will you honor the traditions of diplomacy and join me for this crucial conversation?
Yes, I certainly agree. I want no bloodshed today.
You go in and you sit down and you learn from him that basically that this is it's their call, like what they're asking, really what they're informing is that based on old territorial borders that have been recently updated to account for stellar drift, and they are now claiming Kate as a part of the Solarian Republic.
What does Maxon have to say about that?
So when he arrives and he's escorted to the room, you see that the ambassador, well, actually, you know what? Let's have Mike roll security insight. Difficulty 0.
I got 1 success.
Okay, so 1 momentum. So when Ur'Barr walks through, you can tell that Hoda is the ambassador is very surprised to see Ur'Barr.
I mean, remember.
um, and Hoda says, "Oh, I did," and I didn't. He goes, "Oh, I didn't expect a Cathian representative here."
Mm.
I figured it
Just
was
wait
only
until-
fair.
Just wait until our Klingon friends show up. That'll be real interesting.
Yes, King. Pretty hard to have a conversation about a whole planet of creatures without allowing them to represent themselves, don't you think?
Oh, I understand, Captain. There is a team of ambassadors down on Kate talking to them. Well, soon to be, I should say. But we weren't going to make any what you would probably label as aggressive movements towards the planet until we spoke to your people.
How did you know we would come?
You are the Federation. You're always where you are needed.
Pretty good reputation to have. Not mad about that.
So do they know that we have claim to this planet as well as part of the Federation?
Okay, that's a good point. What does Grand Maxon have to say about the fact that now, like, I want his opinion.
So Grand he says, Captain, we don't agree to this. We never felt we were a part of the Tolarian Republic, and we have no interest in joining that republic, especially since, as you can see, they are not just here to talk; they are here to make action.
I agree. Tell me, Hoda, your people have decided to come here fully armed, and you're willing to negotiate and make peace, but yet you don't make any decisions for your government, which I understand. So what I'm really hearing here is that you are taking over control of this planet, whether we all like it or not.
No, we're here. We are here to talk about it. We respect the Federation's diplomatic traditions, yet our assertion remains resolute. We feel that we have territorial dispute.
Do you acknowledge that the Cathians have been here living for generations? Do you acknowledge that fact?
Absolutely.
Do you also acknowledge that they have the right to choose because they were here first and you are trying to basically bring them into your group?
I can understand what you mean, Commander. The complexities of this issue are high, and though adjustments are needed, a meticulous process based on celestial shifts place Kate firmly within our sovereign territory. So the Federation's stance is that we are in a disagreement.
I do understand that. And there is also another disagreement with the Klingons because very recently the Klingons were in this area laying claim to this area as well. So just saying that the borders are ours, borders are theirs, borders are yours. It's very hard to say of he said, she said, as opposed to, they were here first. I think they should have more say about their planet. That's from my view.
Understood.
So can I ask a question
Mhm.
to the Cathian? I asked the Cathian, I said, how far does your borders go?
We are only
to
here.
in the space.
We are here only in our solar system.
Okay. So are the ships that are, so this is to the game master, are the ships that the Talarians,
Yeah.
are they in his solar system?
No.
Are they trying to kick all the Cathians out and move in their people? Are they just saying you're now under our government?
They would be under our government.
Well, and what's in it for you? Why does it matter to you what these people who have literally don't bother anybody? Why does it matter?
Well, we want to extend our government and our assistance and our ways of life to all people within our borders.
I have to say, it's a funny way of showing that you would like to extend help when you have shown up with an entire fleet saying that we are taking over no matter what.
Well, it's merely a display of what our government represents.
Not impressed.
I understand the sentiment behind the Cathians' desire to deny our claim. However, the matter at hand goes beyond individual desires. Territorial claims are bound by historical precedent and must be upheld to maintain order and stability. While I respect the Cathians' perspective, the Talarian Republic's jurisdiction is not subject to unilateral denial.
I pick things up and put them down.
Let us navigate these diplomatic waters with a focus on understanding, even as we acknowledge the complexities of our respective positions.
So you're saying that your historical star charts are more important than our historical star charts, their historical star charts?
The significance of star charts extends beyond a mere comparison of importance. Our historic star charts, meticulously maintained and adjusted, form the backbone of our territorial claims. The adjustments are not made lightly, and they ensure the accuracy of our boundaries. While I respect the Cathians' charts, they do not supersede the precision and legitimacy of our historical records. It is a matter of honoring tradition and maintaining the stability of our borders.
So honoring your tradition.
I like how I said he couldn't read it. Now he's talking all witty and intellectual and trying to make
honoring our traditions is not just a matter of preference. It is an integral to the fabric of Talarian society. The stability of our territories relies on upholding these traditions, ensuring the strength and resilience of our republic. While it may seem rigid to an outsider, our adherence to these customs is what has allowed us to navigate the vastness of space with purpose and order. Now, let us work together to find a way that respects both our traditions and the values the Federation holds dear.
Yeah, it doesn't sound rigid. It sounds selfish to me. That your culture, your borders, your history is end all be all.
I can appreciate how our customs may seem self-centered from an outside perspective. However, it is crucial to understand that our traditions have evolved as a means of survival and prosperity for the Talarian Republic. We do not view it as selfishness, but rather as a commitment to maintaining the strength and stability of our society. Diplomacy requires us to find common ground, and I am open to exploring avenues that honor both our traditions and the principles the Federation values.
So tell me, Mr. Hoda, how would your government react if Starfleet came in and said based on our opinion, our star charts,
charts.
we have decided that this planet that is under your command, we now own, and you're now under Federation control. How would that go down?
Cat got your tongue?
Your question prompts contemplation. If the roles were reversed and the Federation sought to challenge our territorial claims, the Talarian Republic would undoubtedly respond with staunch defense. Our society is built on principles of strength, honor, and resilience. We would employ all necessary means to protect our sovereignty. However, let me assure you that our current engagement is not driven by aggression, but by a desire for diplomatic resolution. I urge us to focus on finding common ground rather than hypothetical scenarios. Our aim remains peaceful coexistence, even as we navigate through these complex negotiations.
What does the Cathians want to do? Do they want to staunchly oppose?
Ur'Barr does not want this to happen.
So he staunchly opposes.
Are they aware that the Cathians are a race of like warriors?
That's what I'm going to ask.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between a ship and a bunch of people on the ground.
So, Mike, why don't you roll Insight Security Difficulty 3?
I was thinking about using the momentum to buy and actually have a better chance.
Hard to fight without any eyes, especially when the cats scratch you.
Cat scratch fever.
I'm pretty sure it goes without saying, but I'm using constantly watching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use the 1 momentum so I have a chance of getting the 3, because 11, 6, and 15.
See?
I needed 3, I got 2.
Yeah, nothing happens.
So, Hoda, then what do you suggest? Because you have 2 representatives saying no, and you want to somehow negotiate. So what do you suggest we negotiate upon?
Well, we don't really obviously don't want to make this go into bloodshed. So we understand your stances are no, and we're not going to just let this pass and leave.
Right. So what I'm hearing is submit
Or
willingly
die.
or die trying.
I lean over to the captain and I go, time to get angry now?
Almost.
I regret if my words have conveyed a sense of ultimatum. That is not the intention. The Talarian Republic seeks a diplomatic resolution, not conflict. Our claim is firm, and we wish to assert it peacefully. My earlier remarks were to emphasize the importance of understanding our perspective within the diplomatic framework. I assure you we are here to negotiate and find a solution that respects both our traditions and the Federation's principles.
We're talking in circles, my dude.
Here's my take on this.
Mhm.
How much are they going to do, put onto the Cathians? Because if they're talking trade, if they're talking, general,
That's a good question.
commerce,
Right.
I don't think anyone would have an issue with that. It's when we're talking about who's in charge,
Right.
where would they put themselves and start putting rules on the Cathians?
Yeah, so let's ask that. So say we agree to this help, but as you've termed it, what does that entail for the Cathians?
He says it would entail a recognition of the Talarian Republic to Kate, and the specifics of the agreement would need to be negotiated further.
You come here ready to take over with no specifics at all whatsoever. You expect us to just submit to your claim and then just find out what that means later? Are you joking?
Do we expect you to believe that, actually?
So now I know that Grand Marxon hasn't we haven't like officially like signed like a concordant that says like they're in our
Right.
territory, but I'm gonna play it as if we have
Okay.
at this point.
Okay.
Say, well, sir. I think the thing that you and your government might have failed to understand is that Cathian is already under our jurisdiction.
Hmm.
So if you want to have a war with Starfleet, we can certainly talk about it, but I don't think that's worth it, is it?
Well, I hear you, Captain. I hear you. And I appreciate your frankness. But, Captain, esteemed officers, I sense a shift in the air. Perhaps it's the weight of our negotiations or the anticipation of resolution. Nevertheless, I find myself compelled to take a temporary leave, allowing you the freedom to consider the intricacies of our discourse without my presence.
How's Captain Boa these days?
He's fine. He's aboard one of the ships.
Are you
he's
aware
here.
that he bombed a space station?
I have information about what happened on Starbase 2, but I know nothing of Captain the Boa doing it.
No. That's interesting.
That's
No,
not
that
what we have.
yeah.
Nevertheless, I find myself
Yeah. You know what, sir? Let me save you. Let me just save you. You're free to leave. How's that grab you?
please let us resume at a later, more opportune time.
Yeah.
Don't let the airlock slap you in your rear end.
And as you're walking to the airlock back, he says, "May the currents of diplomacy guide us to an understanding."
This guy's a moron. I hate
And
this
may the
man.
I cuff him
Federation.
in the back of the head as he walks through.
God, I just
Yeah.
want to let Lazesh eat him alive.
And you watch the airlock shut. And all of a sudden, Mike gets on his comm panel.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "Commander, this is Ensign Lowland."
What is it, Ensign?
He says, "I was doing a patrol here on deck 6, and I think you might want to come down here and look."
I'll be right down.
Oh my god.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna lose it.
Who goes to deck 6 with you, Mike?
Is the captain following me?
I think I would, yeah.
Okay. So you and Arhat go to deck 6, and you go to where Lowland was reported where he is. And as you round the corner, you see wedged underneath in this area, pushed in between two parts of the ship, he points and he says, "Does that look like a bomb to you?"
Oh god.
How in the world did they get it there?
So that, I think, is where we'll end it.
Yeah, the main thing we're going to have to figure out now is, do we try and disarm it, or do we try and beam it out if it is a bomb?
You can see on the bomb that you can estimate without really looking at it. It seems like you have about 15 minutes.
How big
Oh,
is it?
good.
How big is it?
Mhm.
It's about the size of a torpedo.
Oh, so it can't
'Cause it
fit in
is a
Noboa's
torpedo.
pants then.
Well, from what I hear, he's got plenty of space.
Wow. Oh man.
Don't forget, I have his medical records.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I feel like
Yeah.
Isaac's got this. Isaac's got this bomb thing.
So you're officially in the pedestal of Pompeii.
I feel like he was just stalling time to get that bomb planted in the first place.
Very possible.
That's what I was wondering too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Look at Will's
he was
little
all of a
very
smug
sudden,
little smiley
all of a
mouth.
sudden, he says, "It looks like we gotta leave now," and I'm like, and then that happened.
Man, I should have kept him in the brig.
He said, "All right, goodbye, Captain. Explode you later."
Bye.
All right.
All
Bye.
right, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, no.